prayer?
No.
Are we going to prayer? We'll let them.
Something that I would say.
So they went back there. Start.
I'm not used to. No one's ever asked me that, except for them.
Good job now. All right. We'll get started by standing calls.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just ask you to watch over this meeting today, help us all to make good decisions for everyone that's involved in the county, and watch over our employees and our citizens as they go about their lives this week. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from last week.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $117,921.45.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Like we received a thank you card from the fair board.
AMR here.
Dawn sent her report and said she would not be able to be here. I don't see anyone else. I've got their report here if you want to review it.
All right, monthly report for the AMR is August 1st to the 30th. Blue Mountain had 10 calls, 3 transports. Centerville had 5 with 1 transport. Lysine 13 with 8 transports. Linn Valley 7 calls with 6 transports. Mountain City was 25 calls with 17 transports. Parker 12 calls with 5 transports. Pleasanton 24 calls with 13 transports. Prescott 4 calls with 3 transports for a total of 103 calls with 56 transports. District 1 total responses 24, 15 transports with an average time of 12 minutes and 9 seconds. Linn County District 2 31 responses, 18 transports with a time of 12:52. And District 3 was 50 responses with 56.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, I don't think that's right either.
Because I think it's 56 up at top total, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's okay. That might be that. Was response by 18 with 18 minutes and 22 seconds. The average of 15 minutes and 15 minutes and 6 seconds average response time throughout the county. Sheriff's report.
I've got a printed copy of that too if you want it.
All right, Sheriff's report, September 3rd, 2024. Total prisoners 70, 13 released this past week. Total prisoners in 69, 1 farmed out. 52 total farmed in. 66 911 calls, 4,622 jail contacts, 575 total calls for service, 14 civil service papers served, 5 VIN inspections, 11 cases opened, 7 closed, 2 vehicle crashes, 144 SR activities, 130 bailiff contacts, and 4 livestock out.
Let's see Randy here. He sent his report just a few minutes ago and I posted it on your site. I don't have a printed copy. You have one up on my screen if you want the numbers off of it, or if you want to look there.
You want to go ahead and read that, David? I don't.
Okay,
see.
so what I've got, it says weekly call data total 11. Yearly is at 275. And the breakdown on that 11 depends on if you look at the pie chart or the message beside it, on which way it goes.
You gotta go to the pie chart. That one's just the number in the sequence around the circle.
Okay. So it looks like 2 good intent calls, 5 fires, and 4 rescue and EMS incidents.
Looks like we have Amanda here. Amanda, you want to go ahead and come on up? Are you ready?
Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Snyder, Linn County Health Department. Numbers for August, 148 client appointments. Some of the activities we did in August, our nurses went to Prairie View for student immunizations. Miss Sue is retiring officially at the end of September. So we have posted her job and we have some interviews this week. Hopefully by Monday, I'll have a recommendation for you for a new hire. Becky Savage, the guest speaker, motivational speaker, will be in Linn County on the 17th. Danielle shared a little bit about her last time. She'll be traveling to each of our schools within Linn County. And then that evening at 6 p.m. At the Prairie View Performing Arts Center, she'll do a community event. So parents are welcome to come to that. Really anybody in the community is welcome. She will be talking about accidental overdose. She lost 2 of her sons in the same night to accidental overdose. This week, our nurses will be doing vision and hearing screenings at Jayhawk. Last week, we met with the Alzheimer's Association. They came and kind of just talked to us about what they offer as an association and things that they could provide for us and for our community members. And then they also kind of talked about education that we could go through ourselves to be able to provide some of these classes. There are communities that have something every month for caregivers or family members of people who have Alzheimer's or dementia. So that's something we're kind of looking into. The education and training is something that is provided free by them. So it would just be something that we could pass on to members of our community. We are going to start offering remote WIC appointments. We have several clients that are struggling with transportation or funds for gas to get to us. So we kind of pulled some data, and those clients tend to be in the Blue Mound, Parker area. So we're going to try this and see how it goes. But the Blue Moon in Blue Mound has allowed us or given us permission to use their building for these appointments. So we have, I believe, November 1st will be the first day that we do that. So we'll have a WIC nurse and a WIC clerk go there that day for appointments. People that we already had scheduled, we're going to try those out first. But we'll also kind of have a time that if people want to come in and apply for WIC at the same time, they can do that there at that location. And then Miss Vicki and I are starting next week our certified lactation counselor classes. So that consists of 95 classroom hours and then an exam that we take after that. That's all I have for you.
Is there anything there?
I don't.
No, ma'am.
The only, I guess, other thing I had was our health advisory board. if you still wanted to dissolve that, I think we needed a resolution.
So I think that's what we,
Yep, it's been,
Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys.
thanks, man.
Thanks, Amanda.
I will hopefully see you next week.
Sean, is he ready? I'll go see if he's ready.
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. I believe we have some folks here to talk to you about the rock testing and the gradations that you had asked about. And to try to make this easy, those were the items that we were sent on the reports. And if you have any questions on those or the reports themselves, we can cover them. You should have all the same information.
Can you help us read the reports? You'd be able to.
state your name and who you're with, if you would, please.
Yes, sir. I'm Scott Brook. I'm with Ham Companies. And we have Ethan Rice with Ham Companies as well. So you're looking at a gradation, and I assume you asked one of the sales rep for these gradations. But so what you're looking at is how we make the material, right? So I'll let Ethan explain what these are, but these are each one of those is a square of that size, right, in a specific mesh pattern. And let's explain the process from start to finish, if you can. So how we take a gradation starts with a mini stockpile. There's a specific pattern that we have to lay out from a main stockpile. Our quality control technician will go grab 5 samples, 5 pigs from a shovel into a bucket. We take that back to the lab. The lab then takes that and splits it again a specific way. And then we dry it. Well, actually, we wash it, then dry it.
No, dry it first.
Dry it.
Yeah.
So
That gets the moisture content of the rock as it is at the location. And then it gets washed over a number 200 sieve, because the only way to get the true amount of minus 200 is to wash it. Otherwise it sticks on the material. And then it's dried again, and then we run it through what's called a Marianne shaker, and it gives us our gradation, which is just the weight of the material on each sieve. Which all the specifications that we have listed here, this one is the OP modified, that is an AB3, which is KDOT specification with Overland Park specs. The Overland Park specs are tighter than KDOT, so we shoot to hit Overland Park specs, because if it makes Overland Park, it'll make KDOT grade. The AB3 AS1 is the same thing. The next one, the inch by half bedding, that one doesn't have any specifications.
We have internal numbers that we shoot for, but they're not listed here. But
I'm not sure why, I don't think you even use 1/2. So that's like a 3/4 rock.
yeah.
Not sure what you guys.
Yeah, the way the product sizes read is it's the top one is the passing, what it passes through, and the bottom one is what it's retained on.
Now, is there an AB1 also?
There is an AB1, yes.
Okay.
There's an AB1, AB2, AB3, and AB4.
What's the difference? Would you explain that? I mean, what?
AB1 is larger on the top end than AB2 or AB3. So the
So
AB1 will
AB3
have like,
more fines in it. I mean,
You're gonna, yeah, you'll be less fines on an 81.
Yeah.
81 is considered a drainable base. So where an 83, I think we can go 8 to 20 on the 200. So I mean, it has quite a bit of fines in it, right, for compaction. An 81 will have less fines, which makes that material a bit more expensive. But the purpose of an AB1 is to allow, like, you know, if you're, let's say you're doing a paved road, and underneath that paved road is a water issue, you'll use an AB1 to let water drain instead of wash it.
so you guys actually have AB1?
We don't make an AB1 at 18. Hasn't been a need for it yet. We do make AB1 at one of our, well, a couple of our other sites. Lewisburg is one of them. But currently at Lacine or Cadmus, we don't currently make an AB1.
Okay.
And what about lime in these tests? Does it say anywhere how much lime is being in with the crush?
what's your definition of lime?
Yeah.
The
Because
ag
lime
lime?
is a different product than
Ag lime.
ag lime.
So-
Ag lime is a product.
So,
Right.
So we do test for ag lime. So what you're looking at is that you're looking at that 200 sieve, and we can have 8 to 20% of, we call them screenings or fine. Ag lime is a specific product that we can test for to have, you know, what
Right.
calcium and all those other things, and that will be, you know,
Now, when that goes into your pile after, when you actually dump it there, does that separate? There'll be certain spots in that that might have more lime in it than what the average is, or not?
no.
Not the way it's handled
No.
at those two locations.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain other ways of stockpiling your material that could produce that effect, but the way the plant is that goes between Lacine and Cadmus, it can't get high enough when it stacks it to have segregation like that.
Yeah, and there's a specific, you know, typically you stab from the side of the pile, which, you know,
And there's a KDOT technique of loading out
Yeah.
to fill trucks that we follow that
keeps them.
reduces that effect if that
When you
is.
load KDOT trucks, is it?
No,
Well, any truck. So we follow whatever KDOT recommends we do for anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter if it's KDOT or not.
Is it kind of like concrete samples? You guys, is it like a third party company comes in, does the testing, and they hold it somewhere else in case somebody comes back on you guys?
so for gradation wise, we do internal, we have QC techs that stab those, and we do those internal testing. We do have external testing, you know, for ag line, specific things for like proctors, those kind of things. We do external testing, but most of our testing is done in-house.
Now, when do you do your testing? Is it just once when you stockpile it, or do you do it
Every day of production.
Every day of production. And then
Every day of
we'll-
production.
every day of production?
And we'll do multiple shipping samples just to confirm that nothing has changed.
Are you required to do that, or do you guys?
That's all voluntarily. We were in Lewisburg, we were an accredited lab, which we are no longer an accredited lab on voluntary basis just because we weren't making money off what we were spending for the license. And I hold us to a higher standard because of that.
You know, our job is to mitigate any,
And I'd rather know there's a problem before it sneaks up on us.
we don't want to hit the ground and do something wrong, right? We constantly check what we're doing, how we're doing it. Because our goal is to be consistent. when we are.
Now, do you guys wash any rock for chip and seal roads?
It
Not at
depends
those.
on- It depends on location, right? We gotta have a good water source. Not all of our locations offer a good water source.
Do you here in this county?
No.
No. Okay.
Lewisburg would be the closest one because it has the volume and the cleanliness
Now,
that we need to wash.
the dry screening has always been And we do a really good job of getting out as many fines as we can, well, all the fines, what you're gonna get on it is a bit of dust. But that's a surface, there's no fines anyway, so our dry screening process is pretty good. And again, washing it, one thing that it really does is, yes, you're gonna pull out a little bit of, again, cleaning dust, it's gonna cost us more, right? So we're gonna have a higher cost to something that we really don't need to wash for. It's an extra process. Now, again, I'm not sure how you got those gradations. I think probably your sales rep, but you use the AB3 for your roads, right? Which many counties do. You're probably using a 1/2-inch chip for your chip seal, which you don't have a gradation of here. I'm not sure what the 1x1/2 you're most likely not using. It's a 3/4 by 1/2 inch.
Yeah,
Clean
that's more of a pipe bedding, culvert cover type material. That's, unless you're making concrete, you could use it for that. But it's, even for concrete, it's kind of small. You would want more of an 1.5 or an 1.5 by 1/2.
Now, I assume you wanted the gradations because you're interested in what you're putting on the roads. You're probably getting complaints that there's no rock on it or there's too much dust or whatever, right? Which is the standard circle that we go through. We can pull fines out. But the problem with when you get something with less fines in it, it gets really marbly, right? So
You get bad rutting.
you get rock that's gonna never kind of tighten up. So when people drive the 80 miles an hour on a gravel road, that stuff's gonna be ditch really.
I think what we're dealing with a lot is a lot of like buildup of like riffles and stuff too.
Build up of what?
Like riffles, like
Washboard.
yeah,
Washboard,
washboard.
yep.
Yeah. And when it comes to material, we can talk all day long. When it comes to, process and how you guys treat those roads, we'll stay on our own side of the lane here. But what I have seen is a lot of times, a lot of those potholes and washboarding, you just got to dig down and get those out. Because when you cover it up with rock, all it's going to happen is it's going to mirror through again.
We've bought rock savers going over our graders to try to take them out.
Yeah, that's the only way to get, on a pothole, you got to get below the pothole.
And a coarser product will make those worse.
Yeah,
You need the fines to hold the coarse material together in it, which is I can send you, I think we have results. I think we ran them internally on both Linn and Cadmus, what's called a Proctor test, which is a compaction test. And it's tied with a gradation to see at what moisture the product compacts efficiently. And if you take out the fines, we've seen in the past where the coarser material will never pack. It just stays loose in the mold the entire time. So if you were trying to cover riffles, washboards with coarse material, it's just going to move out of the hole. It's kind of like concrete. You wouldn't lay down concrete without the cement in there. And that's what the fines give you, is it's a binder.
Yeah, 83s it's a common thing we sell to the counties, kind of all over our footprint. We have a few that like to bring out some fines, and we'll do that. We have some that like the fines in it. Your closest county, they take the same material you're getting at.
So, I mean, do you think it's necessary? Do other counties bring in a company to do testing, or do they just kind of go off what you guys provide?
Is testing as far as what the material?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to do that at your expense, but you're going to get the same information that we're providing. The testing is the same, right? We're, one of our core values is integrity. We can't and won't change any of this data, so the data you get is, whether it's good or bad, it's the data you get.
And we prove that with our own third-party testing every year. We run our internal tests and we pay out of our pocket for third-party.
Do you ever provide that to customers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If we have it, we freely give it. If that's what our material is, that's what it is.
The information that you guys usually, that you need doesn't require a third party. When it comes to qualities and stuff like that, we do third party. Again,
So we're not gonna see it on the AB3?
As far as a third party thing, yeah, there's no
I think we have
quality
a proctor.
requirement. We do have a proctor, but that won't, you won't.
That's
need-
just a compaction test.
Yeah.
Like,
But again, you're welcome. We'll bag up and run a sample alongside of whoever you want to run those samples. That's no problem to us. I think what I've seen from counties, and we have a footprint way out west, Junction City coming this way. And those counties have hired a specific person to look at how their roads are set up, right? Do they have the right crown? Are the ditches right? Blah, blah, blah. That's the stuff that would probably make sense for you. Because the gradations won't change.
That's kind of what we're doing. We're just trying to figure
Yeah.
a way out. And
They may say, hey, look, for, this certain amount of mileage of road that we already have fines, well, they want something different. That's fine. And we're willing to work with you guys. Right? We're in the county. We want to be a partner to you. If you guys.
on price too.
On what?
On price too.
Man, we do our best to be competitive. Cost is
We knew that was coming.
on that. Yeah, of course. We want to make sure that we again are helping you. You're able to afford the rock in the county. We obviously are a company that's in business to make money. We got to.
For sure.
And when costs go up, we got to price of rock. But again, and when you ask me to pull out fines end up being waste. When I have to waste something, I have to count. We got to get more money. Right? So if
And
I
it's
keep
an-
the fines in it,
it's also an added process,
yeah. So
which costs more diesel.
if
more
we
time.
keep the fines in it, it's usually a little cheaper. If I pull fines out, we're willing to work on that. It'll just be a little more money. We can look at what that looks like, and I can give you guys pricing and that before you can evaluate it that way.
We're just trying to.
I think that would be good to kind of see what that would cost, what the difference would be.
Yeah, I think what might really help too is grab you a sample, and it could be a load. You guys can send one of your trucks down to Lewisburg. You can grab a sample of what it would look like. Maybe what you do.
How much more is AB1 versus AB3 at
Yeah,
Lewisburg?
I was a little unprepared on these discussions because I didn't look at what we're trying to do. But I mean, it could easily be a couple dollar difference.
Yeah.
And again, the other problem we have at Lake Scene is it's a satellite plant for us, right? So we go in there and crush, maybe twice a year. But we've been in there and crushed our material, and we have that plant at another site for now. We'll obviously be back in there to do that again.
Be 6 months from now. Or,
It just depends on the demand, right? What's in front of us. If what we have on the ground is holding out, it could be. But the issue will be is it's not easy. Like if you guys said, hey, today I want one, we're not there, right? So we'd have to come up with a plan, get there.
Figure out how much we were gonna want and stuff that way so that you could crush what we needed and have it waiting for us.
That was
so you're saying in your AB3 pile could be AB1 and part of, the way it's stockpiled, or, does it separate that much? Or?
No, it shouldn't.
No. Not
No.
there, because they take it, so the way that plant produces is it has a short stacker, which dumps it on the ground, then they take it in a loader and a haul truck over to the stockpile, and when they stockpile it, it gets
Sure.
evenly distributed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. An 81 on a 200, you can have 0 to 10, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, it's pretty
technically, if we were real fine, if we got a lot of fines out of the 83, but you could make the same gradation because we were 8 to 20 on the 83, right? So if we hit 10 and everything else looked the same, it could be an 83. But we put as many fines as we can, right? Within
limits.
the limits. Otherwise, that would be.
Even with that being said, we're right in the middle of the specification, which is where I like to see us. I don't want to be on the low side. I don't want to be on the high side.
Yeah, we're running.
We shoot for the middle of specifications because then that gives us fudge room with breakdown in hauling.
Yeah, so 11, 9, if we pull out fines, we're not going to get down to 0, right? So you're going to be 3 to 4% less than that. I don't know that's going to make a difference. But again, if you want, I can send you what a price would be. You can send your trucks to Lewisburg. I know it's a long way away, but, you know, maybe on something on your south, north end of the county, you can lay a few loads down, see what you think of it. My personal opinion, again, I live on a gravel road in Miami County. I probably wouldn't want to see maybe one there.
Maybe one's real rough on a road,
It's just, yeah.
because the fines act as a cushion. So it,
Again, no one travels the speed limit on a gravel road, right? Which is half the show. That rock is going to be in the ditch in 2 weeks. Now, these are all my opinions. That factor.
well, even from an engineering standpoint, depending on the speed and how hard people are hitting their brakes, that causes washboards. If they're driving like absolute idiots, it will washboard every time.
You guys got any other questions for him?
I don't.
I'm good. Thank you, guys.
I will work on this for you guys. And I don't know if I have any direct contacts, but I'll work on what it would cost.
Send it through Sean.
Sean? Oh, Sean, yeah. I'll work on what it would cost for an EB1, just so you know.
Okay.
You know, something you guys can look at, just go from there. But what I want to leave you with is we enjoy being in Linn County. We want to be a partner to you guys, so you know, if it's something we can help you with, we'll love it.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, too.
Yeah, I reached out to Whitaker as well, but with the holiday, I didn't receive a contact back. I don't know if any of you gentlemen are from another company. Okay. As soon as I get contact from them, I'll let you know.
But do we think it's, before we move on, are we wanting to go out for a third-party inspection of the gravel, or are we just gonna stay in contact with them, figure it out that way?
Myself, I'd like to see what the cost is, just stay in contact, and if we're in question, we can get some samples.
You good with that?
Yeah,
I'm all right with that, too.
we have the cost, right?
We have the cost, and I would think as soon as we have a operations director and you talk about specific roads or a specific quality of rock that you would like to see on that road, you may want to look at that and change it up or get testing on it to see if it's what you want for that roadway.
Well, I mean, I'm not the professional in the roadway. I don't know. I mean, should we bring in somebody that is a professional at building the road, prepping a road, getting it ready? I mean,
I think we should hire the individual we're going to hire for that position and then look at their qualifications and see what they need for assistance. I can't tell you the answer until I tell you who we have.
Makes sense to me.
So, 900 Road, we had the bids you opened last week. I did the numbers on those. Looks like metal culverts came in at $41,726. Wellborn cells, their first one was $34,327.26, and that is for sections with collars, and complete sections to 60-foot sticks would be $31,938, and then contact was $30,594.80. A recommendation is to go with contact at that price, and then to reach out to them and see if they have an option for 60-footers at the same price with no bands in them, simply because it takes out one more piece that could fail later on in the process. But they definitely were the low bid in the process.
So it was Contech, and what was the bid, their bid?
30, 590, 480.
So on top of that, we had that historic, or I guess it wasn't historic. I thought it was, those culverts from last week.
Correct?
Can we not call each one of them and have them add it to the bid to try to get one delivery cost, or is this part of the delivery cost?
Well, on the one from last week to fix 2 problems, and I'll try to explain it. Instead of 348, which is what the water measurement is for, we're looking at an all-in-one squash. And on the end, there would be a pre-manufactured head wall. So basically, it would be a squash tube with head walls, because we've got silting on one side and no way to control that. They tried, and it lasted for some time. They put dead bin on the west side and then put a barrier plate that will hold it in, but that's what failed. So what we're trying to do is get the right tube.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we've been 3 months on trying to get these tubes. I mean, is it something that we can add to the order to get everything moving quicker? And
I don't even know if this company offers this. The options that I was given was only by one company, so I'll have to put it out and see how many companies offer this as an option. But I believe because there'll be one pipe, although it'll be larger, and have head walls on it, one, it'll fix 2 problems at one time, and the delivery cost will be on one pipe and one installation. So there would be, as we're doing on 900 Road with the space between the 2, and we're putting flowable fill to keep the 5-foot spacing in between. If you remember the engineer talking about putting the flowable fill between the 2 to keep the separation, that would not be a problem with this one tube.
And we don't have to get permits and stuff on this tube,
That's correct.
which is part of what held up our last process.
That's correct. The engineer advised me that no permits are necessary for this location, and I sent back, after he sized it, I sent back the option with a squash and a head wall, and he said that option would work as long as I could get the 36 feet of opening for the tube.
so what you just stated was the bid for the 900 road, right?
Yes.
And what's the lead time on that?
I can't give you a lead time. I'll have to pull up the bids, but I don't believe any one of them had a lead time on their bid.
I mean, because we've been working on the material for months. I mean, at least a month, right?
I don't see, although it was requested in the RFP, I don't see a lead time on delivery on any of them.
I guess what I'm getting at, when can we have this project going and done?
As soon as we have the materials, we're going to start the project. We've got everything in place, both permits. As soon as we have the materials, it'll be the priority in the line of projects.
And your recommendation is what, Sean?
Contact 30-594-80.
I'll make a motion that we accept the bid from Contact in the amount of $30,594.80 for the tubes for repairing 900 road.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 I checked the emails and there was no further updates on the airport after your last update. And I believe Commissioner Johnson was reaching out to someone to meet with you.
I got a hold of him. They're still looking into it. They're
Okay.
kind of kicking the can down the road, I would say, but he didn't have an answer for me.
I believe you got the photographs on 1077 north of 900. This process worked out a lot better, shutting the roadway down, pulling everything out and doing the compaction from the base up below the tubes. I believe you can see it packed well and it's marked and going to continue to pack until we cover it.
My pictures didn't come in. Is that what was supposed to? Did you guys get them?
I got them. You had to download them and then,
I tried that.
You had to put them in paint, unfortunately. When the options came up, that's the only way, because I had to convert them from text to email. So paint was the only thing I could open them up in.
What, did we have to pull the tubes out and replace them?
We pulled them out and packed the material below the tubes.
Did we put new tubes back or did we use the old ones that was there?
The ones that were there were new. They just didn't settle because they weren't settling on with the clay that was in there. Here's a set of prints.
So we used the same tubes back.
Yes.
Do we have any idea what this cost us to do this project?
I'll have to look the project up. And the numbers will have to go into Pub Works from the operators before I can give you a cost.
I'd like to look and see what it cost us because I don't know how many, we've been out there quite a few times. And I'd like to know exactly what this cost us the way we did this. Maybe we need to look at a different way, whether it's putting concrete over the top of them or. This is either the second or third time we've been back on this deal.
It's asphalt on each side of it?
Yes.
It's on 1070.
Oh, it's on, okay.
North of Blue Mountain. Actually, what happened, they replaced the tubes and when they went back, it just kept settling. They'd have to go back and put more asphalt over it.
The original tubes washed and created a cavity similar to the 900 road project. We had a large cavity underneath the roadway. I have the Devlin Road bids for you. We were able to receive 2 of those. And I believe you'll see from the RFPs that from talking with the contractors that bid these, they bid everything they could on the project, but we bid it from start to finish, prep work and all. And some were unable to get prep work or maybe both done because of local resources. So they bid what they could of the project, which may leave prep work and other items for us to take care of prior to the job they bid.
Vance Brothers out of Kansas City. Prime and double chip seal. Total price of $263,577.60.
Is this for the whole bid for the whole 3 miles, or is that the way we bid it, or is this per mile, or what?
No, it should be, unless it's stated per mile, it should be a total bid.
Okay. This shows a single chip and seal with prime coat. It's $147,840. And the optional second seal, it's $106,444.80 for a grand total of $254,284.80. This exclusions on this is grading, ditching, culvert replacements, erosion control, stripping, bond, and sales tax.
This one says that there's no road prep included in this bid.
Must not be in this one either.
So in order to get you a complete total, I would have to send Todd out there to do an estimate of what the road prep would cost in order to give you a total on what you're looking at.
Okay.
So Todd has a road plan, a long-term road plan. Does this fall anywhere in his plan?
I don't believe it was on the road plan for the chip and seal, no.
So you'll have something for us this next week, so we'll know.
I believe we can because he's doing, along with his grader operators, the only thing the rest of his shop had was some parking lot work over at the senior center to get that water moved away from the building. So I believe he should be able to get me something or a close estimate by the end of the week. South Shop. They completed phase 1 of 1077. The clay initially added was fairly unstable, so they pulled the tubes and replaced them. We got excellent compaction with the tamper attachment. Jackson south of 1150 got graded and rocked on Wednesday and Thursday. Replaced tubes on 1525, and we'll be replacing 3 field entrances on Friday. Mike's Blade, 323, had a steering issue. Cat thought it would be resolved with a software update, but that's not correct. They're going to have to install parts in order to get the software upgrade to work, and the total estimate on that was $31,3065 to get that one up and running. Also in the south shop, Craig is looking, the rental or lease tractor that we had, we turned around, started a straight path on the other side of a roadway, kicked in the PTO, and the PTO is supposed to be gradual PTO, and we believe we've busted the yoke on the back going to the mower, but he's going to have to pull it apart to find out that that's exactly what occurred. So I'll have an update on that later next week. North shop water pump was changed out on grader 123 on Thursday. If you remember, that's Mark's blade. Mark's blade, both turbos are going out. This is an older machine with 7,000 plus hours. The estimate on replacement of both those turbos is $45,6169 to get it going. So currently we've got 2 of those that are needing repair. They worked on grading roads, had small ditching project on 2400 west of 1077. The ditch needed reshaped, and it was deep enough that a small car could have gotten stuck if it went in too far one direction. This also helped for traffic either direction due to this being on a hill. Mowing took place every day with several culverts that we're hoping to replace next week. Also, low water crossing to clean out. There are some tree trimming projects that are lined up for the next couple of weeks. Jesse met with Lantel and did a walkthrough on phase 2. They identified what needed to be fixed. Phase 1 is coming along great. Handhole boxes are placed at the backside of the right-of-way. The conduit that was sticking out of the roadway are sticking up in the roadway. They have dug down and cut off below the surface so that it should not hit or be hit with a grader. Along with that, I'll tell you, in the south shop, we were grading and replacing tubes on 1525 and struck a line. We believed it was Bright Speeds, but found it in the roadway less than 3 foot. I had the crews take photographs. They contacted Brightspeed. No one contacted them back. I had them take measurements and photographs. I found no variances for that.
That's QuickCom is now Brightspeed, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
But we didn't find any variances for it. So we're going to continue to look, but if it was less than 3 foot in the roadway, I'm going to argue that that's not our responsibility because we haven't issued a variance for less than 3 feet. Pleasanton, due to being gone for part of the week for training, I was unable to get an update for them. The Parker compactor, we talked about refurbished or a new unit, with the new unit being the preference, but the electric being the issue. I made contact with the company. They are going to look into the electrical requirements and see if we can get away from that open delta 3-phase and go to a standard 3-phase instead of, when we go through this process, instead of paying to put disconnects, which may not disconnect a ground or may create a safety issue, disconnecting a ground during the process, they're going to look to see if the new compactor or new unit would take standard 3-phase, and we would be able just to pay the electrician instead of to put the cutoffs in it, pay the electrician to put in a standard 3-phase that would be able to be
Okay.
more aptly disconnected. 963, this is a landfill loader or bucket. Craig is looking at the cost on the tilt cylinder for that bucket. Apparently the large tilt cylinder is leaking and has issues. We talked about the porta-johns at the park. I looked at the cost. There was no cost benefit for doing all of the site locations. Apparently the cost went up as we went around the county. So the cost that we're getting currently was below after you added the winter rate to it. So my recommendation is still to move over to porta-johns, purchase the porta-johns and move over to their service.
So is it, I mean, restocking the toiletries and stuff like that, part of
That was all part of the deal on both.
So we're currently paying Gherkins $4,302 a year. If we buy our own, 2 of them at $2,200. First year pumps, total first year cost of $41.95. And then after the first year, as long as we don't have to buy new porta-johns, we'll be at $19.95 per year. Is that right, Sean?
That's correct.
By taking the ones away from Gherkin, does that change anything if we take to where Gherkin don't supply anything for them? Does it change our rates at anywhere else?
Does not change the rates at the other locations. It's an individual contract for the park.
Okay.
Well, my recommendation would be allow us to purchase 2 used porta potties, cancel the park contract with Gherkin, and enter into a contract with On the Go Johns for those services.
how much was it to purchase the
2,200?
per unit?
No, total.
Total?
It's, hang on, 1,500 for the handicap and 700 for the standard.
And the handicap is the one we use down by the ramp or marina area, simply because that's the largest area of use and the only level ground where an accessible is needed at that point.
You guys got any thoughts on it?
I'm good with it. Only save $100 the first year, but save $2,300 the next.
If you need that amount, there it is.
And that's price for used ones, you said? Or new ones?
Says used on here.
Looks like a brand new one costs $700. Or
Are they new or used?
Used. Those units, new, are fairly expensive. And we did recently buy a used one for the compactor site at Parker. due to needs at that location. And Jesse picked it up for us and was very satisfied with what we picked up, and so are the personnel at that location.
It was a new one?
It was a used one.
Look at a brand new one right here, costs $770.
Waiting for delivery.
Should be a couple $100 for delivery, but brand new, not used, for $729. The handicap one, pretty expensive. What do you guys want to do?
How much is a handicap?
Just like this one's 2,500. So we just practically be buying whatever they have there on site and then continuing on.
We would go look at what they have on site, pick out what we wanted, and then it would be delivered to us when they picked up theirs.
And this is your pretty average porta-john, isn't it? For $769. And we're sure that that price is used, Sean?
I'm sorry?
We're sure that's a used price?
Yes. As I said, the one we picked up for Parker, Jesse was pretty satisfied. I went up and looked at it. It's a solid unit. The only thing normally we have issues with is pop riveting the sides or where they're pinned together, pop riveting those sometimes back together, and there's not much there to go wrong.
You guys got thoughts on this porta potty? You guys want to move forward with it? You want to?
I already said I'm good with it.
Jim?
I'm good with it. If you are.
The cost really isn't an issue. What I would need your approval for is to cancel one contract with Gherkin and to enter in to a contract with On the Go Johns.
Anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we cancel our contract with Gherkin on the porta potties at the park and go with On the Go Johns for servicing the ones that we purchased.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The cost that I handed you are the cost on the 1077 north of 900 road, and the total installation cost at this point was $7,700.01. The next thing I had in line is the roof damage reports that we saw for the hail damage, and asking your direction on how you wanted to proceed in reference to the old county attorney building and the courthouse on getting bids for those and what you wanted to see as far as the old county attorney's office.
David, since we received money for that specifically, are we able to collect that and use that on another roof that's insured by the same company, or how's that work?
That would be normal with insurance coming in. I believe that would be all right, but we probably should check and make sure.
I mean, what do you guys think? You guys want to re-roof that attorney's building?
I don't.
Try to utilize the money elsewhere?
Yes. That's what I would like to see.
Jim? David, can you check on that?
If we're not going to re-roof that, if insurance allows that money to be moved over, then I would assume the next part of the process is you'd like me to start getting bids for the other roofing repairs.
Yes.
Okay, I'll look at those and start trying to develop a bid. The only one that may have to be separated because the cost of the job is the courthouse. And do we want to look at repairs if we have to hire a crane to come in for the steeples?
Yeah, I went over and looked at it and flew a drone up there and looked at it myself on the wood rod on the front and the back, and it's pretty significant. So I think we knock it all out at once.
Okay,
I'm in favor of that too.
so first part of that would be a bid on the roofing and assessing any damage and asking for a bid on that as well.
Yep.
Okay. I need,
So I think we allow them to, the whole crane thing, I don't think we deal with that. I think we leave that in their hands too.
you want them to contract everything, one shot?
Well, I don't think it's contracting. I think they get a lift in there and knock it out. I don't think, we'll let them come to us with their way of getting the project done. I don't think we need to.
Scaffolding or however.
Yeah, if they want to stage it or whatever, I don't think we need to step in that.
Yeah.
Let them do what they want.
Just let them bid the project as they see fit to repair it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing I needed was 5 minutes executive for non-elected personnel.
So Sean, I see we're all our, well, a few of our graders are broke down and we're doing all this other miscellaneous stuff. When are the roads getting graded?
They're being graded, as I'm being told, daily. But as breakdowns come in, they're trying to shift focus on other areas that need it the most. But we have had several breakdowns on graders. Some they've been able to repair and put back out until further repairs were needed. Others had to be shut down so that the machines would not be damaged any further.
So right here on the regular, I think that's hours. Is that just 74 man hours or 74 hours to do the project and there was 5 different guys on it? Or how's that? How do we read that?
I don't have that in front of me, I'm sorry.
I mean, is that 74 hours that 5 guys had on it altogether, or is this
That's
70?
the total.
Is this a man hour, or is this what? I mean, what is this?
That's a total for the task. I can't tell you whether that is a total for the task for each operator or combined for the operator. I'll have to ask Joyce how the system
It's got to be
completes
combined.
that. But I believe it is a combined, because each operator enters in his hours and then it totals and gives you a cost. So each one would be a total of their cost and their hours. Because I can tell you the project itself lasted less than 8 hours when they did the second day. So the total for the first day and the second day was less than 16. So 74 hours would have to be a total of the combined efforts of those operators.
You guys got any questions, concerns, comments?
No.
I met with the contractor on the stairs on the front and back of the courthouse. It's complete. And then I met with J.R. Kerr. He was the only one that got back with me and hurried up and over there and met me about the railings, which it's been people are pretty vocal on the railings, wanting to get it up. So he met me over there. I sent him my email this morning. He was supposed to get me pricing for the front and the back. The front's a new railing and the back's just pasting in what was already there. So as soon as I get that over, I'll send it to Sean and David and he can forward that over to you guys. So
Thank you, Danny.
there's some brick.
How's it look?
It looks good. There's some brick that is missing that they had to tear out that I'll replace that. So everything else looked pretty good. I think Ryan did an amazing job and got in there and got it done. So
Sure did.
Sean, do you have any comment on it?
Only that as soon as JR gets a bid on it, I'd like to talk to him about how they're mounted to make sure that we hit the meatiest part of the stairs. And I'm sure he's done this before, but I'd like to make sure that when we drill them out, we don't do any damage and that we're all on the same page so that the rest of the installation goes well. I'd hate to crack out new work.
And him and I actually talked about that, and he had done some stuff up at Osawatomie that he showed me pictures of, what we based it off of. So he's already talked about it. So,
Okay.
like I said, I don't know exactly what he's going to send me. I haven't got it yet. So I imagine I'll get it today. He asked for my email. So, but I think it's pretty, it's kind of an emergency to get that, at least that front on. So.
Yes, and like I said, I think I can meet with him today and in 5 minutes confirm everything that I needed to do as well. So,
Just a little update on agenda. It's not on there, but Lisa Kelstead found another person she wants to hire. She's unable to be here today, but Dustin, our deputy, is going to come over. I told him probably around 10:30.
Good.
Sean, you need 5 minutes. Non-elected.
that is correct.
All right, we'll get to you, Sean.
Thank you.
Right now, we'll open it up for public comment. A citizen desired to speak on an item that may not be on the agenda may come up now. State your name and your comment. We'll try to limit it to 5 minutes if we can. Any public comment?
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Marjorie Wake, and I've been a property owner and resident of Kansas, a property owner in Tanglewood Lake, and been a resident of Kansas for 2 years. So I was here today just to say something about the property taxes. I believe you're going to be voting on that.
We'll be having a hearing here at 11 o'clock.
Yes, okay. So that's why I'm here, just to say something about those. When I started going through this paperwork on the statement of proposed increases, my husband and I own several lots there, and most of those are vacant and unimproved. So when looking through here, and this is new to me to have this kind of detail on property taxes, but most of those lots the increases are ranging from 67%.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're
Okay.
going to open this. So since this has to do with the revenue neutral and budget, should this not be under that kind of hearing?
Well, it would be a time that is set up for that. And
Can we push you just a little bit further? At 11 o'clock, we're opening up for the revenue neutral hearing and the budget hearing. And this would be a
Okay.
great time for you to just go on record with what.
Okay, I didn't see on the agenda that there would be public comments
it's
after
part of
11,
it,
so
so-
that's why I came.
Nope.
If that's
Okay.
okay, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No
that'd be a
problem.
better time for that.
Okay.
Any other public comment? All right, we'll close public comment. I'll make a motion that we go into executive session, 5 minutes, non-elected personnel with Sean.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll be back at 10:25.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to get something set up to put it on, but that's fine.
I'll just leave it. One second. Thank you.
All right, we got a little bit of action from executive session.
So, John, operator one range, is 7A, which starts at 16/31/12.
Make a recommendation that we transition part-time employee Brandon Denman to full-time to fill an opening left by an operator leaving, and bring him in at 7A 16/31/12. He will also need CDL training and qualification, and make recommendation we do that at our convenience.
I'll make a motion that we hire Brandon Denman as an operator one at 7A, $16.3112 per hour.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You're here to speak on appraiser, right? You want to go ahead and come on up?
Dustin Schuler, Deputy County Appraiser. Would like permission to hire Rebecca Knoll as a Field Appraiser 1 at 8A, $17.46 an hour.
A field appraiser, you said?
Yeah, Field Appraiser 1.
Do you guys have any comments or anything on that? Questions? I'm good with that. I'll make a motion. We allow the appraisers to hire Rebecca Knoll for a field appraiser 1 position, 8A at $17.46 an hour.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thanks, Dustin. It looks like the next item on our list is the revenue neutral hearing and budget hearing at 11, and we can't start that before 11,
Yeah,
right?
because that was published for 11, so.
So unless there's anything else you guys want to discuss, we can recess until 11, so for the next 30 minutes.
Fine with me.
Jim, you good with that? I'll make a motion that we recess until 11 o'clock.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Like some new tubes there.
Yeah, no, that's supposed to be that extension.
Oh,
That one right there.
huh?
That one right there's a new one.
Yeah. There's some new ones in there.
All right. Well, it's 11. We are back in session. At this time, we will be open up with the revenue neutral hearing. We will let David explain a few things, and then we will ask for public comment.
All right, so for the revenue neutral process, the deadline was July 20th for any taxing entity to notify me that they would potentially be going over revenue neutral. And then we have to get all the notices ready to send out after that. At that time, for the county and the special districts, I had the notices proposing going over revenue neutral, partially because we weren't done with the budget yet at that point. We weren't sure how it was going to come out. So what was sent out on the notices showed that the county levy would come in at 40.992 mils, which is the same levy we have this year. However, with increases in valuation, that would bring in more tax dollars. And then the rural fire levy, at the time those were sent out, let me get back to that one, was 2.055, which is also over the revenue neutral rate. So the next part we had to go through on budget was finishing up the rest of our parts of our budget to calculate what rate we would actually have. Our revenue neutral rate for the county is 38.241 mils. At that level, we would bring in no more tax money than we did this year. And by the time we published our budget to hold this hearing, we had the county levy down to neutral. So it was published at 38.241 mils. So at that rate, the county would not be receiving any more tax money than we did this year to fund our budget next year. On the rural fire, when we published the notice, it was down from the over 2 mils that was in the revenue neutral notice. However, it was still over the revenue neutral rate. It was published at 1.647. The revenue neutral rate is 1.561. After that publication, I got with the fire chief to discuss where we could make either some additional cuts or try to figure out how to get that down, because the commission did not want to go over the revenue neutral rates. And he informed me that he had 2 pieces of equipment that were already up for sale this year, and what he expected to get in by selling those 2 pieces of equipment. With those equipment sales, we were also able to get that budget down to the revenue neutral rate, even though it was published over. So what I have for the commission today would be county and rural fire budgets that are revenue neutral and would bring in no more tax dollars than they did in the current year. The only other budgets that are attached to the county is we've got some cemetery districts, and the 3 cemetery districts that are attached to our budget are Cemetery District 1, 4, and 5. Those are districts that are not governed by the commission. They have a cemetery board that governs them. They just attach to our budget, which actually saves them some money of not having to publish their own budget and pay to have it done. They are slightly over revenue neutral on their budgets. And I can tell you their reasoning on that was their mowing costs have gone up a lot in the last couple of years. So as for the county and rural fire, what we have prepared to be approved today, we would be revenue neutral. Does that kind of explain some of it?
And we have no control over the cemetery.
We don't really, because they are their own entities. They're just attached to our budget.
And we also don't have any control over evaluations going up, right?
Right. The values on individual properties, I know some went up quite a bit, others didn't as much. Those are set by the appraiser's office. Those notices go out in March, and there's nothing the commission can do to adjust that. So with that, we do need to have a public hearing for the revenue neutral, which is what we're in right now, but we need to give the public a chance to comment.
Okay, so with that being said, hopefully that answered a few of you guys' questions if you had any, but if you still want to speak, you're more than welcome to come up to the podium, state your name and your comment, and we will listen to what you have to say. Yeah, anybody can go.
And I do appreciate you commissioners. It's a rough job, but the assessments I received sent me up over $120,000. And I would like to know who assesses and how it happens and what we can do about it, because the farm that my son lives on went up 70,000 assessment. The farm down the road from my son that we rent out went up 16,000 for a 35,000 or a 1935 house. A home we own in Pleasanton that a grandson lives in went up 33,000, and nothing was done differently to any of these other than we tore down a barn on the one in Prescott. And that's not acceptable. And that's about all I've got to say. I know it's not you guys that do the assessment, but we've got to do something better because we can't do it. Our farm ground didn't go up. The house I live in on a farm didn't go up. It went down. There's something wrong. And that's all I've got. I appreciate your listening.
Thank you.
Somebody else. Don't let me be going. Sad now.
So as I said earlier, Marjorie Wake, and I've been a property owner and resident of Kansas for 2 years. I know everything's gone up in price, and paying taxes is something we're expected to do. It's a fact of life. But when I went through this paperwork on this statement, I was astounded at the percentage of increase. We own several properties there, and most of which are vacant and unimproved lots. And the Linn County percentage increase on this proposed tax increase ranged from 67% to 320%. And some of these other tax subdivisions are even higher, going up to 435%. That's just unacceptable. I don't think anybody in their right mind would think that that's an acceptable percentage increase. In particular, because Tankwood Lakes is privately held. The property owners are responsible for maintenance of roads. Everything's maintained by the property owners, not Linn County. So basically, I'm here to protest these increases proposed in here and to ask that you vote no on these and to reduce them to something reasonable. Thank you.
My name is Kathy Stockton. I'm on the Tanglewood train here. Just wondering if there is a percentage, like an across-the-board percent that you guys, not you guys, but that you used for increases. My property just in 2 years has gone up $95,000. Anywhere from 13 to 45% on the two properties that I own. kind of in the same boat that Marge is here, just wanting some sort of clarification as to, do you have a standard that you increase every year? I'm not opposed to my property value going up. I want that as well. But it's just hard to budget in when your taxes go up and it affects your monthly payments. If there's an across the board increase that we can endure every year and can budget in, or why they fluctuate so much.
It's based off of sales data.
Okay,
And so the county appraiser's office will put together the sales data and things that way. And then that's what's determining the value of your properties.
gotcha.
So
There's a range that they have to stay in
to be in compliance.
to be in compliance with the state. And you could talk to the appraiser's office. I mean, they could explain it to you better than me, probably.
Got ya. So, I mean, should I anticipate an increase of every year for it to go up a certain percentage so I can kind of budget that in, or?
Just depends what the markets do.
It's going to be
That's
market
basically what
dependent.
It's based off of.
Gotcha.
And you can protest that every year when you get that statement from the appraiser's office. You can set up a hearing with her and their office, and they can explain all that to you, and you can
So we're talking.
kind of.
You probably should be talking to the appraiser's office, and, you know, they could explain it to you as far as your appraised value better.
Gotcha.
Because we weren't here in March, we bought out in March, and we just got our appraisal. So how do we protest? I mean, we haven't even been here, and it's already quadrupled in price.
I'm not sure on their protest process over there. That's something.
Don't have a good answer on that off the top of my head. I do know there is an option to pay your taxes under protest when the tax bill comes out. And I think that would create a hearing with the appraiser. But other than that, I don't know what else can be done at this point. But it's really, anything related to value is going to be a question for the appraiser's office.
Here then, yeah. This is a hearing.
We're having a hearing on the budget.
So who do we? So that's not what we're doing. That's not what this is on. Yeah, we were told it was a, that's why we're all here. Who's the name that we need to go talk?
We're actually having a hearing on what the budget is, and the county portion of it is we're staying revenue neutral to where we're not taking any more, even though your appraised values went up. We will not take any more money in by the county, right, David?
That's correct.
On the county portion.
The appraiser, Lisa Kelstadt.
Pardon?
Lisa Kelstadt.
So where does it go?
Schools, libraries, they take more, they take a bigger portion of your money than we do.
Well, let's keep this in order. Go ahead, and if you're done, ma'am.
I'm done. Thank you very much.
State your name just so everybody can hear. We're on camera, so everybody wants to hear you.
I'm Barb Everhart, and I live in Lacey. And I think that you guys, the whole deal needs to learn how to live on a budget. Because my taxes have went up every year for about the last 8 years, a considerable amount. We do not get our roads, the ditches mowed. I can't tell you how long it's been we've had that. I've complained for about 5 years to get the ditch dug out so the water doesn't flood the road and run through, and I think you're our commissioner, doesn't run in our yard and run your gravel. They come out and they dug it out. He spent 3.5 days digging it out. Then he came back about a month later to halfway fill it in, and he has built a driveway for the field net across the road. Even with the road, he put no culvert in it. He brought 3 loads of gravel in and just made a driveway. When it rains, it's going to flood and run all that back over our yard again. So Lacey is a disaster.
Okay.
I don't know if you can fix that, or you can have the ability to talk to whoever's in charge of it.
We have a road foreman you can speak to and give a complaint.
We talked to him. He's the one that come out and dug the ditch and then come out and filled it back in. So that's a big waste. I was told the gravel is about $1,000 a load. He put 3 loads in and no culvert. So it'll run across my yard again.
Any more comments about the revenue neutral?
I'm Bruce Hobbs, 181 Southwest Lakeside Drive in Tanglewood. Mr. Lamb did a fine job explaining, but the numbers he gave, does that mean the information we received by mail is correct or now incorrect?
We had to give a notice to be able to continue on with our budget, right?
So it's going to change. What we have is not correct?
What was sent out was the notices that were prepared back in July.
Sure.
With a proposed rate at that time. Where we actually are now, the county rates are lower than those notices. So the county will not be the increase that you saw on that notice.
So will we get a new mailing?
You'll get tax statements around the 1st of November.
But not a correction of what we've already received?
Not on that. There is one, which you guys don't even know about this yet either. There is one taxing district in the county, one of the school districts, which did not hold their revenue neutral rate hearing on the date it was scheduled. They're trying to get that changed. So anyone in that district may be receiving a new notice, which I could change the county part on those when they went out. But that's not the whole county. That's actually Prairie View School District. I'm trying to work with them today and see if we can get notices out for them in time, because if not, they're going to be limited to their revenue neutral rate, which is not what they wanted to do. But
I vote for that.
but those are a one-time notice that goes out based on what I received from each taxing district on July 20th. So the next mass mailing that would go out from the county, unless we do something with this school district, would be your tax statement. But
We will publish the budget still?
the budget was published over 10 days before this hearing. Once the budget is approved, hopefully today, I will have a signed copy of the budget. And with that, I can show people where our rate is, which is neutral, and which means the county's not going to bring any more tax dollars in than we did the year before. But this board has no effect on what schools, cities, libraries, anyone else does. So I will not know until late October what your actual taxes are going to be, because that's when we calculate the.
Just in time for us to pay them.
It really is, but we continue to get updates on value from the state and from our appraiser from clear back when we started this process up till about the middle of October. Then we cut everything off for final values, and then we can calculate a levy from there.
One last thing, I have several properties at Tanglewood, but I have 3 identical non-lakefront properties. Same dimensions, same square footage, undeveloped, covered with trees. None of them are the same value, which makes no sense to me. They're 1, 2, 3 right next to each other. And to me, okay, if this one is, and they're not big dollars, it's not big dollars on those, but I'm like, well, if this one's 1,100, why is this one 1,500? I don't understand how they get to that. They look at 3 properties, same square footage, covered with trees, can't use them, just no one can be there. Where are they different? I know you can't answer that. But it just seems strange that you look at 3 pieces of property and this one's valuable and this one's not. And they're identical properties. Thank you, though.
Thank you.
Is there any more comments on revenue neutral? All right, there's no more comments. We will close the revenue neutral hearing. And we will I make a motion that we accept or adopt the resolution to, is it supposed to say not exceed?
Well, it still exceeds on those cemetery districts,
So
and
does
they're listed in there of the ones that are up, but the county and fire are not.
Okay, so what does my motion need to say then?
It would just be to adopt resolution 2024-25. I mean, that's all we would need on it.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2024-25.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
And just let me clarify, I'm pretty sure I heard all three of you, but I also have to record every person's vote for this. That was a 3-0 vote?
Yep.
Okay. So here's a copy to be signed. And you notice on that, in the paragraph right before where it says now therefore be it resolved, that's where it lists that the ones exceeding are cemetery 1, 4, and 5.
The 3 cemeteries and everything else is revenue.
Yeah. All right. Then the other part of the process we need today is the actual budget hearing and approval of budget. So, and I had sent Danny a list of all the steps to go through. I don't know if I sent it to you guys or not, but so the next step on there would be opening the budget hearing and ask for public comment on the budget.
All right, at this time, I will open the budget hearing and we will ask for public comment on the budget. So if you have any concerns about the budget, please come up, state your name and concern or your comment. Any comment? Any questions? All right, at this time, David, yeah, it's been published in the newspaper. It was published weeks ago, wasn't it, David?
2 weeks ago was the budget notice was in the newspaper showing it's not on the website yet. I have a copy here with me if there's things you want to go over.
How much did the budget increase from last year?
None.
The tax dollars did not increase at all. We'd have to look at last year's to compare overall budget increase or decrease, but there's more than tax dollars affecting that. I can open up a copy of last year so we can look at that also.
Why don't you help the road people's budget rate?
Can you still ask questions?
Yeah, if you want to, please, if you're going to ask a question or a comment, just please come and state your name. So like I said, there's people over the camera that want to hear what you guys have to say too. So
Sure. Bruce Hobbs, 181 Southwest Lakeside Drive, Tanglewood Lakes. So you're getting no additional revenue, and we know everything has gone up. So you must have been economical someplace. You must have made some cuts someplace because some things went up.
And we
They have to. Gasoline went up, blah, blah, blah. Salaries went up. So what did you do to keep it neutral, where you take no new taxes?
but that's kind of an open-ended question. We've done a lot. The budget took us months to figure out, and a lot of confrontation, if you ask me. But we got it to where we needed to be. So
there are some things that had to be cut.
yeah, like per department, yeah.
Like what?
Like in each department, there was items that were
Everyone
taken
had
out,
to
like,
take a little heat.
yeah, just like our juvenile intake, we're going to a new contract, saving us $70,000. what is another one?
SEK Mental Health, we've given them cuts the last 2 years, putting us more in line with the other counties that are contributing there instead of us being above and beyond, and things that way. We've looked at any of those items where we're with multi-county things. I would say another thing that allows us to stay revenue neutral is the income coming in from the jail, from housing inmates, has been a thing that has definitely helped us and our ability to stay revenue neutral and not raise your taxes.
Okay. Very good.
That is something that I'd like to see myself. With that being said, that we don't take that as far as income to run the county to where we're paying the jail off. That's personally where I'd like to be. That's.
And just for me, I'm thinking, gosh, if you stay revenue neutral, how do you do that? If you got everything going up.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Well, that's your job.
Holly Hamilton, I just had a quick question because I had asked for the breakdown of the budget and I was told it took a core request. So if it's public, I would like to have a copy of it. If it's a public information, I think it should also be posted on the website so we can all review that. We don't all look at the newspaper. That would just be easier for us to. And did you say you had copies up here for us to look at?
I have a copy. I can make copies.
It's hard to question things on a budget when you don't even get to see the budget readily available. Or I asked in an email to David for a breakdown of the general fund as well, and I didn't get it because I can't get it until November, or it's a official core request. So I feel like if you guys were open, there wouldn't be so many questions on what's going on with the money, the budget. It's just like there's not any transparency with any of this. I don't even know what to question on it, really. I need to see it. It needs to be publicly available. So I would like a copy of it.
Well, again, I need to make a copy. This is the copy for them to sign that I have here.
Any more questions, comments, concerns? All right, well, we are going to close the budget hearing then. Do you guys have any questions, concerns, comments?
I don't.
Comment? Is there a number on that, David?
I'm sorry, a number on.
Is there a resolution with that?
No resolution.
No, just approve it.
It's just a motion to approve the 2025 Linn County and Linn County Special Districts budgets.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 So there's actually 2 certificate pages there, if you guys wouldn't mind signing both of them, just so we have an extra copy of the certificate. They're the top 2 on there.
Just the two, you said?
Just 2.
Just the top 2 pages.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
I can send a completed copy to IT and ask them to post it on the website.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea that we put it on the website.
Yeah. Douglas County does it well. Tom Kemper's listening. That's what I refer to. And I talk about Douglas County as our budget that they have on their budget they have on their website's a good, good knowledge. So not that I compare Linn County to Douglas County, just to get that correct. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I don't.
Got anything?
Yeah, I received emails and phone calls about our quarter request, about the information got leaked out. Did you guys get those?
Yes.
What was it?
Emails?
Yeah.
I did.
What do we need to do about that?
I mean, what exactly are you referring to, Jim? Let me see. Are you talking about this email?
Yep, that'd be one of them. Yep.
I'm just gonna brief over it real quick and
Pardon me?
just gonna brief it real quick and then we can talk about it again. Unless you guys already have what you want to talk about. What do you guys want to start on? What's your?
Do we have a responsibility for that? That got leaked out like that?
I mean,
Are you concerned about the photographs of the children? What's,
That's not the only thing that's in there.
I mean, those came from my phone, my county phone. He sent them to me.
There's information that should never been released.
then
A lot of it.
some of the photos I saw, there was information that was blacked out that we have no idea what it was. Right in the middle of a conversation about, I mean, multiple things. I mean, not to call you out, Jason, but bringing people in here to try to piss me off. I mean, you don't have to do that. Bring people in, I can just get pissed off if you want. So I read that. That was kind of concerning for me. So I think it's a
Just
shit.
following the example.
You think I bring people in here to piss you off?
Okay.
No comment?
Why don't we have a county counselor?
Because
And wouldn't he?
let
ever
me answer your
do this?
question. Why don't we have one?
Yeah.
Because you were allowed to do things separate than, or differently than what Jim and I were supposed to do, and I didn't agree with it, and I used my cuss words, I
Separately?
guess.
What
Yeah,
did
it
I
was
do
two different
separate?
incidents. And I didn't agree with it. know what Jim's conversation was with him, but I know that he was not happy with me and I wasn't happy with him. So, but him and I are over that. It was, I didn't agree with what he wanted me to do. So,
Okay.
because you weren't held to the same standards as us in the prior instance. Does that answer your question?
Okay, but I complied with the standards both times that were given to me to
No,
comply
exactly.
with.
I'm not saying it was your fault. I'm just telling you why, why I think we don't have one. You asked me
Okay.
why we didn't have one.
My question is, why did we release information that wasn't on the quarter request? That's the question I have. That's been my question all along. I think we put information out there that they never should have had. I don't want to see it happen again.
So David, is there a procedure on this that we should be following? I mean, because it's kind of just turned into a shit show because we're not following a process here.
I can't understand that it could even happen with what happened. Just, I think it states that you have 3 days to answer a core request, but it's a reasonable time to get the information out there, right? I don't feel that it was reasonable what we turned loose as far as information.
I agree.
Well, I've already changed my password, so I've remedied that situation. I had somebody reach out to me and tell me that that was what was going on, that was what was in there, because I haven't been through the core report. So
Did someone got your? Well, I'm confused. What?
so login credentials, including passwords, were one of the items that was raised that was released on my phone. And I've already remedied that situation. I've went in and changed those and taken care of it to alleviate that concern.
But that doesn't stop it from happening again. What I'm asking is there a process that we should be going through each time? It's the same exact each time someone wants a core request. The first time you did it, you just gave screenshots.
Screenshots first time.
The second
next
time,
time
we
we
wanted everything.
take our phones in and turn it into the sheriff's department, then this happens.
I mean, do you not agree?
You think it was good what happened?
No, I don't think it was.
That's what I said.
I'm not
Why
putting
did we?
blame on you. I'm just.
How do we?
I know, but I mean, you didn't even turn your stuff in.
You're right. I didn't.
Yeah.
You're 100% right. And I stated the whole entire time why I
Looking
would do
back,
it because
I
it was
would
not a
turn my
process.
back in if it's,
You guys have that prerogative too.
Yeah. My county phone is up for grabs. I don't know what.
So those things were followed under different county counselors. You don't see the differences there?
No, because I didn't go with what he recommended. I mean, David, you're the officer in this, right? You're classified as the information officer, right?
That's the point I
And
was trying to make, was that you guys aren't going with what is recommended. And that's why we don't have a county
Well, we
council.
don't know what's recommended.
What do you mean we didn't go with what was recommended?
You're not going with what is recommended by the county counselor.
Did too. The first time, screenshots is what happened on the first one.
And
Second one, they asked me to turn my phone in. I turned my phone in. So,
You did?
So where did I go wrong? What was you saying?
Why did you lash out at him?
How do you know I lashed out at him? What do you know? What, you got a little secret deal in your phone You know, it's just like the paper said that you didn't have a whole lot of stuff there, Jason. And you talked to the planning and zoning board member probably quite a bit more than anybody else did. And you was the one that sat there and said, no. You know, people talking, you fired a guy on the planning and zoning board because you didn't like what was happening. And you're sitting there having conversations.
How did I replace him?
You're having conversations with her on a regular basis.
No different than you.
On a regular basis to talk about the commission. And then go with Darren. You get on Darren, and you and Darren sit and have regular conversations about the commission. Tell me how this is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a good old boy system, Henry.
Right. You got yours. I've got mine.
Yep.
Good old boy.
It isn't county employees.
No. What are we going to do when we don't have any county employees?
Just keep going down this road. That's what you want.
Not what I.
It must be. You must like what you must like what happened with the core request because you chose not to want to do anything about it. I guess. Do you want to talk about
How what are we to do about it?
Well, that's what I want to know because I don't want it happening again.
Okay. So what are you going to bring to the table, Jim? What would you like to see?
Do what we say we'll do. When we say we're going to take the county business and that's it, that's what should happen. Don't matter whether it took 2 days or 2 years. You can't say that it was wrong for the information that went out.
I'm not happy about it either, but I'm not.
So you're just shoveling it under the rug and go on. That's what you're wanting to do. I'm not for that.
I'm not for that either.
I'm not. Because you're scared of offending somebody. I think we got offended myself, so I think we need to correct the issue.
Okay.
I personally said, don't take my private information. And it happened. People, telephone numbers end up in the paper that wasn't even involved in it. In the core request. Who exactly went over the core that put the information out there, David? Was you the only one that went through the information that got released?
I went through information that I received from both sources.
Yeah, but so are you the one that went through it and separated the information that got sent for the core request?
I'm the one that went through information.
So why did information end up out there that was not even involved in the core request?
Again, I would rather talk to legal counsel before commenting on anything like that.
It's out there. It doesn't matter. It is out there. And that's what I don't like. We probably should have talked to legal counsel before we sent it out, is what I'm saying. And it wasn't like we was on a deadline. It went out the 3rd and the election's on the 6th. And, you know, it's there was no reason it had to go out on the 3rd. Would that be fair, Dave or Jason? It states it in a reasonable time frame.
Right.
So can I ask, is there a proper procedure that we're supposed to be following, David, like by a state statute, or, I mean, is there a process you're supposed to be following that you need to follow that we haven't followed, or what's going on?
A process for
how this is how the core requests are supposed to be, how they're supposed to be done. I mean, they just give you a timeline? Do they tell you exactly how you can do it?
I don't believe there are any details about how information is retrieved in state law.
Well, what just amazes me, they would redact some things and then throw other things out there that didn't even pertain to it. And I don't know what the redaction was, but be a lot of that there, and then something that did not even pertain to it was put out to the core request.
Why was Mark Briggs contacting us on this after he'd already talked to you?
Because he's a citizen. He has
No,
that
but I
right.
mean-
He's not elected to do nothing. He's not even part of the
Yeah.
county.
I don't have no idea. You'll have to ask Mark Briggs that. Probably didn't like what happened.
But Mark Briggs is a civilian. He has nothing to do with, I mean, he can't contact him.
No, I'm
He isn't on it.
asking, I mean, those concerns that we got, seem like they're more Jim's concerns than,
Well, I mean, I have a few concerns. You want to talk about them? About you, I mean, you getting a hold of people and bringing them in here to make me mad, to get me riled up, get me pissed off?
Yeah, you had conversations with them too.
so, but,
But nothing, Jason, I would not do that to you. Like, what?
okay.
I mean, if you want to see me get pissed off, I can easily do that. You don't have to waste your time and text people and entice them to come in here.
All I said was if you,
I saw what you said.
okay, fine, you've
I
got it
saw what
then.
you said.
You've got it. When they call and complain to me, I'm just one person, just like what you're talking about, right? I don't get to speak for the Board of County Commissioners. So what did I do? I told them if they had a complaint, to come in and speak to all of us.
That's not what it said, but
That's fine. You can read it any way you like, Danny.
I read it word for word.
It's fine.
But again, I think the process is broken. So do we do anything about it? What do we do here? It's not getting fixed. Is there anything we can do? David? I mean, so that you're not at fault, somebody else isn't at fault, or legal's not at fault, so everybody's doing the same exact thing each and every time something like this occurs.
My personal opinion, the best thing would be to consult with legal advice to figure out what the solution is.
Well, we don't have any of those either. I mean, is there a software, like a program that we can take information out? Because, I mean, before this all came in, I thought that's what the sheriff's department did, but I guess they just retracted everything off the cell phones and then turned it over to you, to your office, David?
I can't really comment on their process.
Was there redactions on it when you got it?
No.
So you redacted stuff, anything that was redacted, you redacted it.
Yes.
Okay.
So can we all agree that the process is broken? Yeah? Yeah?
Yeah.
So can we do anything about it?
We could hire legal counsel.
Are we able to set up a policy, David, to take care of this as a board of commission on how we do this?
I don't know.
I guess we all agreed that it's broken, but we don't know what we can do, so. Any other comments on it? Jim, did that answer your question?
No, not really.
Any other comments and concerns, questions?
Nope.
We'll put it on our old business and see if we can get back to it.
I won't be here next week either, so. Gone.
Is there anything that's pressing next week, David, that you know about that we can take care of today? Or needs to take
I
care of?
don't have anything from anyone scheduled for next week at this point.
Okay.
If something come up, you can try to call me, but I won't know that the phone will work.
All right. Well, you guys got anything else? Nothing? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion to noon second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Go on.